For more on this, let's bring in the CBC's Sarah Galashan. So, Sarah, what's the latest in this case?
Well, Andrew, so Mama Shui, in just the last couple of hours, has made a first court appearance in a Montreal courtroom. The 27-year-old appeared pretty briefly. We heard from the Crown prosecutor that they are opposing bail in this, but the defense has requested bail, so there will be a hearing to determine that, and that's to be scheduled a little later this week. As you heard there from the RCMP, she's facing terrorism charges, all outlined in the court's charge sheet. She's accused of participating in a terrorist group between 2014 to 2018, as well leaving Canada to do so, plotting with others to that end, and as well in 2014, while in Canada, making financial assets available, knowing that they were going to benefit ISIS. So for now, she remains in custody. The Crown prosecutor spoke to the potential jail time that she could face based on those charges outlined in the charge sheet. And I want to play you what he said.
Parliament determined that the maximum penalty for these offences is 10 years in the penitentiary. Now, I'm not giving any reflection of what the Crown's position would be there. That's all I can say for now. We're very early in the proceedings. All this will be before the court, so I'm very limited in what I could say, but I can answer that very precise legal question.
So, Sarah, what about the other woman who was brought back to Canada?
Well, that's 50-year-old Kimberly Pullman, also held in the Raj camp in northeastern Syria, and also arriving to Canada in Montreal in the early morning hours where she was arrested. But that really is where the similarities or the connections between these two cases ends. Pullman was put back on a plane and sent back home to here in British Columbia, where her lawyer says he expects she's going to be given a peace bond in order to prevent her from recommitting any crimes. She was featured previously in a documentary expressing regret for her actions, explaining that she was in a terrible state when she met online an ISIS fighter and then married him, traveling to Syria to be with him. According to her lawyer, it's her dire health right now that has led to this repatriation to Canada. Human rights experts have called the conditions in the Raj camp akin to torture, and that ISIS family members that are being held there are subject to inhumane and degrading treatment. And that is where both of these women were being held. In addition, two children as well who were repatriated as part of this group, and those children now in protective custody. Human Rights Watch estimates that there are some 4 dozen Canadians, men, women, and children, and most of those children under the ages of 6, who are right now remaining in Syrian detention camps. Other countries, France in particular, just last week repatriating 40 children, some 15 women from a Kurdish-run camps, as I say, just last week. But Canada's position to this point has been for security reasons not to provide consular assistance to Canadians who find themselves in this situation. But Andrew, what's happened here in the last 24 hours, the repatriation of these 4, the 2 children, the 2 women back to Canada, that's raising some questions as to whether or not Canada's position on this might be softening.
All right, Sarah, thank you. The CBC's Sarah Galashan.